According to Gallup, about 15 million U.S. adults say they've used these injectable drugs to reduce their body weight, and some say those drugs can have serious negative health effects.
Imagine this. Just one shot weekly that could help you lose almost 30% of your body weight in less than a year. Sounds wild, right? Maybe even too good to be true? Well, maybe not. Retatrutide is a new experimental drug that's been making waves in the health and fitness world. But is it really the miracle everyone's hoping for? Or are there some serious risks? Let's break it down. Over the past few years, weight loss meds have made huge strides thanks to breakthroughs in peptide research. You've probably heard of drugs like semaglutide and tirzepatide, better known as Ozempic and Wegovy. These have already made a big impact. Now there's a new contender, Retatrutide, nicknamed the Godzilla of weight loss drugs because it targets 3 different hormones instead of just 1 or 2. So far, the research is suggesting that this triple action is setting the bar even higher for comparable weight loss therapies. Here's why it matters. Obesity affects over 650 million adults worldwide. Yeah, that's a massive number. And it's linked to serious health issues like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even some cancers. So, can a drug that actually works well be safe? Let's see what the research says. Early coverage from top sources like Science and the New England Journal of Medicine is already calling Retatrutide a potential game changer, especially for people who haven't had much luck with other meds like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. That said, experts are urging caution. Retatrutide is still in clinical trials, and we don't know everything about its long-term effects yet. Like any powerful drug, it comes with risks and limitations, so it's super important to understand the full picture before getting on board. So, what exactly is Retatrutide, and how does it work? Retatrutide is an investigational peptide developed by Eli Lilly. It's a triple hormone receptor agonist, meaning it activates 3 key receptors, GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. In comparison, drugs like Ozempic only activate the GLP-1 receptor. These 3 receptors play a significant role in regulating appetite, insulin secretion, and energy expenditure. By targeting all 3, Retatrutide aims to offer a comprehensive approach to weight management, with improved results seen in a shorter period of time. So, what do these receptors even do? Well, GLP-1, also known as glucagon-like peptide 1, slows gastric emptying and promotes satiety, which helps reduce food intake. Targeting this receptor makes people feel full faster after eating smaller amounts of food and keeps them satisfied for longer. GIP, or glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide, supports insulin release and may enhance fat metabolism. Activation of the glucagon receptor, often overlooked in earlier medications like Ozempic, increases energy expenditure and promotes fat breakdown through lipolysis. This synergistic effect may explain Retatrutide's unusually high efficacy compared to single or dual agonist therapies. Unlike older drugs that mimic just one hormone, Retatrutide's triple target strategy replicates the complex hormonal response seen after bariatric surgery. One reason researchers believe it could be a game changer in medical weight loss. But don't take our word for here. Here's what the results of some clinical trials suggest. Clinical trial results. In a Phase 2 study published in the New England Journal of Medicine called Triple Hormone Receptor Agonist Retatrutide for Obesity, 338 adults with obesity were given different doses of Retatrutide. The results were pretty mind-blowing. People on the highest dose lost an average of 24.2% of their body weight in just 48 weeks. Some even dropped as much as 29%. That's more than what we've seen with medications like Ozempic or Mounjaro, and it's a big reason why Retatrutide is getting so much attention right now. This was a super legit study, randomized, double-blind, and placebo-controlled, basically the gold standard for clinical trials. The average starting weight for participants was about 107 kilograms, or 236 pounds, and those on the highest dose of Retatrutide, they lost nearly 26 kilograms. That's 57 pounds on average. What's even more impressive is that the weight just kept coming off steadily over the full 48 weeks. No early plateau, which you often see with other weight loss meds. Plus, participants saw improvements in key metabolic markers like fasting glucose, insulin resistance, and even liver fat. The researchers also noticed that the higher the dose, the better the results, which could mean doctors might be able to personalize doses down the road, depending on each person's needs. So why is it so effective? Well, the literature suggests that retatrutide's triple action approach really sets it apart. It doesn't just help with significant weight loss, which actually surpasses what current meds can do, but it also improves insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control. That's huge for people dealing with diabetes or prediabetes. On top of that, it can reduce liver fat, which might help with conditions like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It also improves cholesterol levels by lowering triglycerides, and clinical trials have shown it can shrink waist size and visceral fat, both big factors when it comes to heart health. Unlike some older GLP-1 drugs, retatrutide seems better at improving how the liver responds to insulin, which could be a game changer for metabolic syndrome. Plus, early data shows promise for folks with PCOS, helping balance hormones and reduce inflammation. Another cool thing, because it activates glucagon receptors, it might help preserve lean muscle even while people lose weight fast, important for keeping metabolism healthy long term. Of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like any drug, retatrutide comes with some side effects and risks. The most common ones are nausea, diarrhea, and constipation, especially when people start increasing their dose. These usually get better over time but can be tough in the beginning. Some users have reported a faster heartbeat and sensitive skin. There are also concerns around pancreatitis, with some trial participants showing enzyme changes that need more study, and potential thyroid risks. In fact, people with certain thyroid cancers or genetic conditions are usually advised not to take this class of drugs. Mood changes, fatigue, and trouble sleeping have popped up in early research groups too, though we're still learning more as the phase 3 trials progress. So while retatrutide looks promising and could really change the weight loss game, it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution, and will require careful monitoring. Alright, so we've covered the science and the pros and cons, but what about real people? What are users actually saying? Well, if you check out online forums like Reddit's r/peptides and r/Ozempic, you'll find plenty of first-hand stories. Some people report pretty rapid weight loss with very few side effects, which sounds promising. On the flip side, others mention challenges like blood sugar ups and downs, or simply having a hard time finding a reliable source for the peptide. Access can be tricky, especially since a lot of these peptides come from compounding pharmacies, and that raises concerns about purity and consistent dosing. Many users sharing weekly progress logs have seen steady fat loss of about 1 to 3 pounds per week in the first 3 months, especially when they combine retatrutide with low-carb diets or intermittent fasting. Along the way, some also notice boosts in energy and less food noise, that constant mental chatter about eating, something folks have also reported with other GLP-1 meds like semaglutide. However, not everyone's experience is perfect. Some talk about hitting a plateau or feeling what they call peptide fatigue after a while, which might mean needing to tweak doses or take breaks. For those with type 2 diabetes, some have needed to lower or adjust their insulin or metformin because retatrutide improved their blood sugar control so much, which definitely requires careful monitoring by doctors. And while these stories are encouraging, it's important to remember they're just that, personal experiences. They're no replacement for solid, peer-reviewed clinical studies, which are still ongoing and really needed to confirm long-term safety and effectiveness. So, you've probably heard about the sky-high price tags for weight loss drugs like Mounjaro, Wegovy, and Ozempic. And now you're wondering, what's retatrutide gonna cost? Well, here's the deal. Retatrutide is still in phase 3 clinical trials and hasn't been approved by the FDA or Health Canada yet. That means you can't get it through a prescription just yet. However, research-grade versions are already being sold online. If you're buying one 10-milligram vial at a time, you're likely looking at $150 to $200 Canadian dollars in Canada, with similar prices in the United States. But just a heads up, these aren't pharmaceutical-grade products, so the price and quality can really vary depending on where they come from. They're research peptides, usually sold with the disclaimer that they're not approved for human use. Most of the time, they're made by compounding pharmacies or peptide suppliers, and since they're not regulated, the consistency and safety can be all over the place. If you're thinking about trying retatrutide, it's a good idea to get your product independently lab tested before using it, just to be safe. As for the official rollout, Eli Lilly launched global phase 3 trials in early 2024, with results expected by late 2025. If the data looks good, FDA approval could follow in 2026, maybe even sooner in countries with faster review systems. And if you're thinking, I'll just wait and get it from the pharmacy once it's approved, that might not be cheap either. Experts say Retatrutide could end up costing even more than today's GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic, which already run between $900 to $1,300 USD per month out of pocket in some states. And insurance? Still a big question mark. A lot of plans don't fully cover obesity medications, so you might be footing the bill yourself. The good news? Lilly is already ramping up manufacturing to avoid the supply shortages we've seen with drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, so hopefully availability will be smoother when Retatrutide officially hits the market. So, after hearing what people are saying about Retatrutide, you might be wondering how it stacks up against other weight loss meds out there. Well, here's the quick breakdown. Ozempic mostly targets the GLP-1 receptor, while Mounjaro goes a step further by activating both GLP-1 and GIP receptors. Retatrutide, though, takes it even further with its triple receptor action, hitting GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon receptors. This triple approach might explain why it's showing even bigger weight loss results, but we still need long-term data to be sure. In terms of actual numbers, Ozempic, or semaglutide, tends to help people lose up to about 15% of their body weight at the highest dose. Mounjaro, that's tirzepatide, gets closer to 21%, but Retatrutide's phase 2 trial results are showing weight loss in the range of 24 to 29%, which is pretty impressive. One big difference: Retatrutide activates the glucagon receptor too. Now, glucagon can raise blood sugar briefly, but it also revs up your metabolism by increasing energy use and fat burning, especially around stubborn areas like visceral fat and the liver. That could be a game changer in how deep and lasting the fat loss is. That said, unlike Ozempic and Mounjaro, which are already FDA approved, Retatrutide is still in the investigational stage, so people will have to wait for official approval before we can get pharmaceutical-grade versions. Experts are optimistic, but the real test will be how Retatrutide performs in the real world, things like how well people tolerate it, how easy it is to get, and whether insurance companies decide to cover it for weight loss treatment. So what's the bottom line on Retatrutide? It's definitely an exciting development in the world of weight loss, with some seriously impressive results so far. But, as with any new or experimental treatment, it's super important to stay cautious, keep yourself informed, and always talk to a healthcare professional before thinking about trying it. Even though Retatrutide's trial numbers are some of the best we've seen in obesity medicine, we have to remember that weight management is way more than just a drug. It's a complex mix of biology, behavior, and environment. No medication, no matter how powerful, can replace good habits like healthy eating, regular exercise, and taking care of your mental health. And one more thing to keep in mind: we don't yet know the long-term safety or how sustainable that kind of dramatic weight loss is when it's achieved through medication alone. So while Retatrutide holds a lot of promise, the full picture will only come with time and more research.